In any application, we would use constants instead of hard coding values, and typically we'd program those up as variables at the beginning of the program itself. In LabVIEW, we don't really use local and global variables as if we can help it because of the runtime nature of it. So how would we achieve the same effect with constants? Well, here's a simple application. We can pass in a number and we'll get a string out. And I've set up this cluster with some hard-coded values. A cluster is just a container data type, and we can put any type we like in there. And in this case, I've put some strings in. And on the case, if the number passing is 0, we could decide to pass out start. And for the case 1, we could send out a different value. But how would we achieve that? If I could copy this and paste it in, but then I've got 2 copies of this data and each of them are separate, so I'd have to change those values in 2 different places. There's actually 3 cases here, so I'd have to do it 3 times in fact, and throughout the application, wherever this is used, it would need to be changed, which clearly isn't sustainable. So a better way of achieving this is to create another VI. I'll just shrink these down a bit. And if I take this cluster here now and paste it into the VI, because I want this to be served up, I want to make it an output, so I'm going to change that to an indicator. I'm going to attach it to a parameter terminal so we can get hold of it, and I'm going to make these values default, so wherever this this VI is used, these are definitely going to be the values that come out. I'll save that as constants, and then I can drop it down and connect up, and I have access to the variables within it. I could do the same thing in this case here, and this time I could choose a different value. And one of the advantages of doing this is that I could create another set of constants, cluster, yeah. Again, I want to make sure that this is an indicator. And maybe we'll call this one send. And receive. Make those default again. That's definitely still an indicator. Change to an indicator. Add it as a parameter. And now I can save it. Not quite sure what's going on here. And I have access to the other values. Do that on default as well. And this time, if I run this at 0, we get start. I'll turn off the highlight execution. You could see how that was operating. if I start with a value of 1, we've got done, and you get the idea. Send. So that's a good way of doing constants, and when I have to change these values, I only have to change them in one place, and that's here.